But first one we wanted to get into is definitely one of the most popular questions, especially I actually switched teams. So I was like hard on Garmin for years and years and years. And then I got in bed with Apple Watch. And now, like, it's still to this day, everybody in my DMs like, yo, why'd you switch? So, Mac Daddy, because you're definitely Garmin, which one do you have?
I have the Phoenix 6, the one that you definitely influenced me to go buy.
The 6X is the huge one. The 6S is basically like the one that is smaller. I think it's 42 millimeters. I want to say the 6X is 52 or 51. It's big. Did you have any other fitness watches prior to that, or like was the Garmin your first one?
Yeah, I had an Apple Watch, like I want to say like one of the first iterations of the Apple Watch when it first came out. My mom and my dad bought it for me for my 30th birthday. Yeah, I had used that like pretty much up until I got the Garmin. You know, it was the first iteration of the Apple Watch, so it didn't do a whole lot. Yeah, they've upgraded it quite a bit, but I'm not a really big jewelry / like wearing things. I tend to fuck with shit on my I want to play with it and take it off. So I'm actually surprised I've kept up with this watch and haven't lost it. Maybe because it was like $800 when I bought it. So I was like, I'm not losing this thing. But no, I mean, I've had it for almost 3 years now. So, and it's still doing its thing. There's some things I think I need to like reset it or update the software, but I honestly don't use all like the functionality that it could be used.
And meanwhile, I had the Garmin Forerunner 235. I had the Garmin Vivo Move. I had the Garmin Venu. That was like me in my like early 20s-ish. And then I actually had a nutrition client that they were sponsored by Garmin. And so one day he texted me and was like, hey, I'm about to get a bunch of new swag. Like, do you want anything? And I was like, hey, dude, like, I don't know like too much about like what's the newest model or anything like that. So like, just send me whatever you think is cool. And so it actually ended up being a Garmin Phoenix 5S. So I got my first one for free. I think I had that for a few years. And then the battery life, like comparatively now, if you have like the 6, the 7, like it is light years difference. And so I bumped up. I had the 6X, which is what you had. And so ironically, I actually ordered it by accident. I meant to order the smaller one, but I was ordering off of Amazon. I like wasn't paying attention. And so I order it, I get it in the mail. And again, it's like a tuna can. Like this thing is freaking huge. I think there's typically like several years between whenever the latest models come out. And so I upgraded to the 7S. And then Apple had just come out with the Apple Ultra, which same thing, like it's huge. It takes up the watch. And so I had it a couple days and I was like, ooh, I don't know. And then I was like, oh, actually, I do like this better than Garmin. So they can all do the same things. Like they can all receive text and call notifications, which like miss me on any notifications. Like I get a watch and I'm like, turn that shit off. No. So I don't do any, I'm kind of same with you. It's like, I'm not using it to the full potential of like, it can do all these cool things. And it's like at base value, I'm using it to tell time, to track my steps, you know, calendar, et cetera, et cetera. But both of them are going to have map and GPS capabilities. They've got music capabilities. So like you don't have to have your phone on you to still be able to listen to music. Both of them, you can track your menstrual cycle. At this point, if you have the 7, at least for Garmin, both of them would be touchscreen. If you're undecided between the two, it's like, well, how much money do you want to spend? Because with both of them, the more money you spend, like the more bells and whistles you get. But what aesthetic do you prefer? Because definitely like Garmin is very like...
I feel like it's like for hardcore people. When I go to like a wedding and I'm sitting there wearing this like Spy Kids watch and I'm like,
They have different wristbands for the Apple Watch and same thing for Garmin. It's like you can choose different color combos. When it comes to Apple Watch, the perk is that you're going to get to use the same exact apps that you would like on your phone. And so, for example, like this is actually like my favorite feature is I don't ever have to carry my apartment keys because I can actually unlock it using my watch. So like when I get in the elevator, I can just open up the app, click it, and same thing on my front door. So that's super nice because God knows I'm like the dummy that'll walk out, go grab coffee, and then be like, oh, I don't have my keys. Fuck. So, I mean, that's definitely cool. When it comes to battery life, Garmin for sure like takes the home run. If you turn off the ability to track your heart rate and all kind of the extra noise with, I'd be curious to know, Alex, because I feel like with my Garmin, I could go like 3 to 4 weeks without charging it. Does that sound about right?
I think when I fully charge, as I have all the stuff turned off as well, it still measures my heart rate. So I think I get like 24 days, 25 days to a full charge, something like that.
I think if you have all of the like fluff turned on, I want to say it's like 10 or 11 days. I don't know about the regular Apple Watch, but with the Apple Ultra, it's usually 2 to 3 days. But what I tell people is I literally have my charger in the bathroom. And so anytime I take a shower, I just pop my watch on there. And then same thing. It's like I don't like sleeping with stuff. And like you were saying, it's like I don't want it. I'm like scraping Charlie with my watch. Like I ain't messing with that. So same thing. I just charge at night, so it's not a problem. But definitely the battery life is less on Apple.
So I think you got to figure out like too, like what other gadgets that you have. I do believe that Apple Watch, you have to have an iPhone to set it up. Because I was doing research last night about all this stuff because I was trying to get ready for this podcast. But yeah, I think you need a iPhone to set it up. You don't need it to necessarily run, but you need it to set it up because it's paired with your iPhone. If you're a Apple Android user, bless your heart,
green people,
then you're going to have to use a different watch. But Garmin will work with both iPhone, Android, or whatever phones you have because they just use their own like proprietary pairing app.
You can actually like make your skin blister if you get your watch wet, or like let's say you like just went for a run, you're super sweaty. If you don't take off your watch regularly and like give your wrist time to breathe, you can actually make your skin like blister and bleed up. Because Charlie actually experienced that both with his Garmin and with his Whoop. And same thing, make sure to be taking off your watch because that little sensor can kind of make your skin nasty. Biggest thing to note for both of these, both of them can do your heart rate. Obviously, both of them can do like GPS and runs and stuff. If you have tattoos, it's just going to depend what your tattoo is like as to whether the watch can accurately and regularly read your heart rate. So for me, because I have sleeves on both of my wrists, and I mean I'm tattooed quite literally up to my wrist, and then the top of my hands are both tattooed as well. So it's like it's very hit or miss. It's like both of them, if I like turn on heart rate stuff and I'm working out, it'll clock it every once in a while. But it's like, even if you look at the graphs, you'll see like, maybe there's like 4 or 5 times during like a 20-minute workout or something. And then I think it was actually like Laura had shown her graph or chart of like what it looks like when she works out. I was like, oh, that's my freaking tattoos just like invade me there.